There's got to be an easier way to do this. I'm 70 years old. This thing weighs my weight. It's about 70 pounds, almost maxing out my trailer hitch here. I think I've got a better idea. There's no getting around it. These fat tire e-bikes are just heavy. And you know, you've already dealt with the issue of trying to find a rack that'll support the weight. Even with the battery off, this thing weighs close to 70 pounds, probably 68 or so. And how stressful is it to keep your back straight, your knees bent, and pop this into the spot with the front tire, you know, spinning around a little bit. Even with my bungees on here, you know, it bumps on something and then it spins. Well, the obvious solution to this is a rack. This hitch did not come with a rack, so I actually built one, and I built it wrong the first time. Let me show you what went wrong with that. Before we get into version 2, let's discuss why version 1 did not work. The sides were good, but what the issue was is that the J-hooks, when basically just fit exactly inside the wheel well, and the fat tire would compress against each side of the hook, making it impossible to go ahead and remove this. In addition, when the tire would hit this, either going up or down, it was basically unstable and would wobble, and the tire would come out of the track. So I'm going to fix that in version 2. Okay, here's version 2 all finished up. What I've done is I wanted to make sure I had a solid base. So I've got a brace here, a 4x4 with a bunch of deck screws here on the top. Got the side rails for the wheels, and then down here at the bottom I did the same thing. I cut this at an angle, and for this it was 17 degrees. I think this is going to be nice and stable. Well, let's go try it out. The only thing I don't like is that the front wheel bumps over this, but most of the weight's on the back, so should be okay. This looks like it's welded pretty good. Much easier. Still have the issue of pulling this up, and if you don't like the fact that I'm leaning against the tailgate of the truck, you could always put a pad over that. You can get one of those cheap Harbor Freight moving pads and throw it over there. One point on these bungees, they're not the absolute best answer, but they're better than nothing. Maybe if I got tighter ones, maybe 18 inchers, to really put a lot more stress there, that would work better. I'm certainly open for suggestions on how to improve this. You know, this is kind of bulky. It's going to take up some room in my shop, but better than getting a hernia lifting this thing up onto the rack. And again, make sure you take off the heavy battery before you try and do any of this. Comments, suggestions, how do I improve this? Throw it down